Hey folks, this is the Fighting Nerd Ray Chelinsky coming to you from the Resistance Bunker with his co-host, Jolly Roger. Okay, let's get down the brass tacks here. Hopefully this is going to be pretty quick. Social justice warriors and sci-fi. Social justice warriors are killing sci-fi. No other way to say it, really. Uh, and I think the problem is that what we have in modern sci-fi writing in books, but really I'm talking more about movies here right now after the disaster that was Solo. Full disclosure, haven't seen it, not gonna see it. Uh, After The Last Jedi, Star Wars, in any of the new Star Wars is pretty much dead to me, unless they do something miraculous. But sci-fi in general, there seems to be a loss of understanding between when it comes to the difference between social commentary and propaganda, social engineering. Now, I'm going to take my favorite all-time author, Robert Heinlein, one of the giants of science fiction, hallowed be his name. All of his books were heavy on social commentary. He laid out a world in a book that had a particular geopolitical, sociopolitical setting. In his first, I think it was his first novel, or one of his very early novels at any rate, For Us the Living, it was a world that had gone totally socialistic, had a base, everybody had a base income, and that they got from the government, and they could work and add to that as their talents permitted, or just live off the government dole. Now, interesting enough, he wrote that back in the late 40s, and now people are actually talking about that concept. But the point of it is, it was just an everyday guy. He did that kind of a Rip Van Winkle thing where all of this society it was a kind of a pseudo socialist society, I guess you'd call it. It had the base income and people worked when they wanted to work and whatnot. And there were some, social things that they were sexuality, the whole thing between men and women was a different dynamic. But they did a Rip Van Winkle thing and had a guy from the past kind of get hand waved into the future, and it was told from his point of view. But the story was told in that context, and it left thinking and developing opinions on such a society to the reader. The reader was presented with a scenario, presented with a story, and encouraged to think about it and draw his own conclusions. It's the same thing with Starship Troopers. Please do not confuse the book with the 1977 movie. But Starship Troopers says a militaristic society where there were citizens and there were civilians. The citizens had full rights. They could vote. They could hold public office. And to be a citizen, you had to have served in the military. And if you weren't a citizen, you could still work and make money and become quite successful. You just couldn't vote or hold public office. Now, this society was contrasted with the hive mind they were fighting in the Arachnid, an alien race they were at war with. Again, in the book, you were presented with an everyday man, a kid that just got out of high school, wound up in the military, wound up fighting a war, and it was just his look, the way he lived in that society. You drew your own conclusions about the merits of such a citizen rule organization, which I still say is the way that social commentary in all fiction, really, but we're talking about science fiction here, should work. Now you contrast it with things like The Last Jedi, and because it's new, they're relatively new, Solo, and the Star Trek movies, where the social justice uh, mentality and movement is jammed down your throat. They're not encouraging you to think about these subjects in a reasoned manner. They're not presenting you with information on which to base your conclusions. They are telling you this is the way you must think. You must accept that people can have a twisted sexual relationship with robots. You must accept that even though she is painfully young, has no background in piloting any combat or the use of the Force, that Rey, because she is female and a strong female character, is suddenly going to be good at everything with little or no instruction. Doesn't make sense? Now, wouldn't it have been better for the character and to better reflect better on strong female characters if being, basically a cosmic junk collector, right? She rose out of those humble roots, strengthened by that adversity, received instruction in piloting, received instruction in combat, received instruction in force use, went through the time and the sacrifice and the ups and the downs of undergoing such training, and emerged 3 or 4 years later. You could compress that down to like 20 minutes in the movie, and then you would have a believable, strong female character. But no, the social justice people would have you believe that because women have been oppressed by men all this time, and there are so few real strong female characters in filmdom or TV, that she just has to be good at everything all at once. She was born that way. Just didn't know it until they turned the camera, until somebody, until, you know, for some reason she stumbled upon these skills. Wow, I'm really good at everything. Go figure. Right? And it, in my mind, that belittles real women, real life women, who have achieved great things in any given field by putting the time in to get the training and education and putting the sacrifice in and undergoing the failures and working through their failures and overcoming their strengths. I mean, overcoming their weaknesses by finding their strength to go out, and who went out and achieved things by just saying, not only do these characters suddenly have all of these fantastic abilities, but you must accept that they have all of these abilities for no apparent reason based on their background and training and education. And if you don't, you're not thinking correctly. You're an evil, racist, sexist bigot. And they do all of this and then they wonder why the movies either tank or don't make nearly as much money as that they thought that they would, because it was Star Wars or Star Trek. And I think the whole idea, and I'm talking about women here, but the other social justice, well, we have to have a black hero, or we have to have a black protagonist, or a gay protagonist, or something like that. No, folks, I realize that the hardcore extremists on both sides, but really the left is dominant at this right now, want to politicize and divide everything based on gender or political persuasion or whatever. And they see movies as a propaganda arm. They see the movies and the media as a tool for social engineering. But the thing of it is, all of these industries are intended to make money. They do that by entertaining people, and they entertain people by telling stories. And they're not doing that anymore. They're not telling stories. They're trying to turn theaters and TV sets and TV shows into social indoctrination and sensitivity classes. Uh, there are multiple TV shows now that have inserted gay characters for no other reason than that they're gay. Yeah, I'm probably going to get hate mail and they might ban me. I don't care. I'm not a huge channel anyway. But, they've gay character in Green Arrow, Mr. Terrific. That character would have been perfectly good, not being gay. The fact that he was gay did nothing to advance the plot of the story. By the way, he was a black man. Great. The actor is reasonably competent, and the character itself can be kind of interesting at times. I had no problem with it. I have no problem that he's gay, except for the fact that he was put in there just as a means of social engineering. I've stopped watching Supergirl because I just lost interest in it. But first season of Supergirl's sister, whatever her name is, right? In the first season, no sign at all that she's a lesbian. None. Second season, we must be politically correct. We must make sure that the social justice warriors know we're good. Please don't boycott us. All of a sudden, Zapp Sisters gay. Did it advance the plot? No. Did it help tell any of the other stories except for when they were wedging in the whole lesbian relationship thing? No. It was there to placate the radical political correct crowd. Right? The new SWAT series, lesbian character there. From a storytelling standpoint, no reason for her to be a lesbian. No reason for her not to be. No reason for her to be. Why is she there? Because the networks either A, have executives that want to social engineer everyone into thinking a certain way, or B, they're scared to death that somebody's going to point at that show and say they're homophobes or they're racist or whatever, so they're wedging that shit in there. And it's killing entertainment and storytelling. In doing so. And understand, I was pleasantly surprised with SWAT. I thought, when I first saw them, they were remaking SWAT. I'm thinking, okay, the original SWAT show was only on for one season. And I liked it when I was a kid back in '75, but I look at it now and it's barely watchable. And they're remaking it. But I was surprised. I like SWAT. I actually like that show a great deal, and I have no problem with the character. The character is okay. The lesbian character or the bisexual character or whatever it is. But you know that she's a token. That character is a token. Every show has to have, and it seems like it just about now, that every show has to have that token lesbian character. And again, it belittles the lesbians, the transgenders, or whatever minority or whatever that actually do the work to advance themselves in society. Because they're saying, well, we have to wedge a character in there. Because we can't come up with a gay character concept that's good enough that has enough, that is going to make the story more interesting, or is going to be an interesting enough character to have a reason to put her in there. We're going to wedge them in there so people can see how enlightened we are. I write novels, and my, especially in the my Fire Team Alpha series, those novels have multi-ethnic characters in it. Have a lot of different ethnicities and things like that. And I didn't do that because I wanted racial equality in the teams. I don't have any problem with racial equality. I think all races are equal as human beings under God. And that goes for whatever you know sexual persuasion you want to be or whatever. But in the geopolitical setting of my novels, there has been an attempt at a global government that didn't go so well. A lot of different nationalities and ethnicities said that, well, we're not going to be citizens of the world. We are Kenyan or Japanese or Maldivian or whatever, choose your country. That's who we are. And they fought against this attempt to homogenize the world and make everybody one religion, one nationality. So a lot of them fled their countries when they were occupied by globalist forces, fled to the United States, which was still holding on by a fingernail at the time. And these nationalist people, these patriots from all over, many races, many countries, banded together to take back their country. They couldn't take back their countries. So it made sense that there would be people from different nations. So in Fire Team Alpha, there's a couple of Asians. There is an African American woman. There's a Native American man. Not because I sat down and said, well, I need cultural diversity, I need racial diversity. No, it made sense for my story. An example there is the character Bishnu Gurung. He is a Nepalese Gurkha. That I say, well, I need another Asian in my group, and I have Nepal is underrepresented in the entertainment media. I'll make somebody from Nepal. No, Vishnu Gurung is a member of Team Alpha because Gurkhas are badass and cool. Gurkhas are legendary warriors from Nepal. Look them up. But that decision wasn't based on race. It was based on the fact that the Gurkhas have kicked ass through history. That they do have a very interesting culture, and it made for an interesting character. Which, yes, I haven't done too much with him yet, but in the next 2 or 3 books, Vishnu's going to get his light a day in the sun. By all means, authors, screenwriters, whatever, if there is a reason in your story, in your plot, to have whatever sexual preference, whatever gender, whatever race, if you come up with a really cool character idea that's interesting and plot advancing, who has skin that is covered with green and orange polka dots, great, use it, but don't use it just to show how enlightened you are, or just to keep people from pointing at you and labeling you a racist or a homophobe or whatever. It'll kill your stories. It'll probably kill your sales. Now, granted, I'm a small press guy. My sales aren't stellar to begin with, but look what it did to Solo. And I don't care what anybody said. This blight on storytelling, where you have to spend a whole lot of time dealing with, whatever makes this special interest character tick, homosexual, lesbian, polysexual, like Lando in this movie and in Solo, whatever. If you divert from the story on that, people are not going to come to see it. If you make your choices on what the character based, well, we need a strong female character. if you start writing the story out with that in mind, then you're not going to have a story. You're going to have a series of fictional events designed to justify having a strong female character. So use all of these characters. Use all of these types of people. You can use your homosexuals. You can use your blacks. You can have somebody that has a inexplicable relationship, inexplicably fond relationship of a particular toaster. But do it because it advances a story. Do it because it makes the story more interesting. Do it because it does something for your plot. Don't just do it so you don't get sued, don't get labeled, or just to prove how truly enlightened you are. It does a disservice to you. It does a disservice to any of the groups that you're putting in as a token character. And it does a disservice for your readers and watchers. That's it, folks. This is the Fighting Nerd, Ray Chelinsky, with his co-host, Jolly Roger, coming to you from the Resistance Bunker, actually leaving you from the Resistance Bunker. Remember, words make history, and I bid you good night.